Aloha, this is Anna Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Oh my goodness gracious. I do want to thank those that have said their prayers. I just really appreciate your love and your support. As many of you know on Locals, some of the stuff that's going on, and I just really want to thank you so much for your prayers. Hats off to all the tinfoil hatters. You are right again, still. There's so much that happened today. I don't even know where to begin. And so I'm going to try to cover as much as I can from what I missed yesterday through today. Bolton raided MAGA Promise Friday again, and Trump hints Prince for Barron. Oh my gosh. Some of the MAGA promise is what's going to happen to the swamp. Yeah. And I know a lot of us want to see the swamp get their justice, because they've ruined our country. They ruined the world. They ruined humanity. These are the cowardly Democrats. They are they're on the verge of tears after they returned back to Texas, got back in the chambers, had to go ahead and vote on the redistricting, and it did pass the House. But the Texas Democrats that did flee, this particular one, she was in tears crying. You can click on these links and it'll take you to those posts. She was in tears crying, and she was asking many ways. She was asking the speaker in Texas, she was asking him different ways of how she can go ahead and avoid signing a permission slip. Can she just leave the chambers? And if she does leave, will she get arrested? And 3 different ways. And he gave her the same solid answer, which was just exactly what she and all the others deserve. President Trump hinted through his El Dorado account, that Ghetto Crockett, which is Jasmine Crockett, whatever her Crockett's seat, is about to go bye-bye. Okay. What I love about this account, President Trump, he's really kept us alert, aware, and also he just keeps things on the positive. He knows what's going to happen, but he can't reveal everything, So he gives us subtle hints. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, she just got referred a criminal referral. So here's Bill Pulte, and he was saying, here's the criminal referral letter on Lisa Cook, and it was directed to Ed Martin, and Ed Martin posted received. Okay, so let's see what happens. She is guilty of, she has gotten involved in mortgage fraud. It hasn't been a guilty verdict or anything yet, because it still has to go through the whole system. What I love is that it's not going through Congress. It's going through the Trump administration. And that way you don't have Congress that says, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and we did this and we filed that and da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. Whereas the Trump administration, they're just getting down to business and just making things happen, which there's some very big things that they were doing. And then yesterday, President Trump, he keeps winning. Letitia James, her scam case that she concocted with Judge Judge Engoron, that ridiculous fine that he imposed. So she didn't win her case through a judgment. It was the judge that was siding with her, and she was filing on behalf of another party. The other party didn't even get hurt, so she filed a civil case. She couldn't get a criminal case, so she filed a civil case. This Judge Igor was siding with her, and then he fines Trump $454 million. Well, guess what? Eric Trump posted this, and so did President Trump in his own ways, about that particular $500 million in civil fraud fine is tossed out. The appellate court tossed out that and just basically said it was ridiculous. So we know old Tishy, Letitia James, she's in big trouble. This is the problems that she's going to be facing. She has the mortgage fraud allegation that is already under investigation. She has the civil rights investigation, where she's been subpoenaed by the Justice Department as part of the investigation as whether she violated President Trump's civil rights. The investigation reportedly concerns records related to the lawsuit James had filed against Trump's business, and a lawsuit involving the National Rifle, the NRA. And then the calls for discipline, there have been demands for James to be disciplined, including calls for her to be suspended, disbarred. So let's see where this is all going to go, right? Because we know she's in big, big trouble. All these people that say, you know who I am, nobody's above the law. Well, they're the ones that are actually out there committing all this illegal stuff. If a civilian that's let's just say a civilian not serving the public was caught with mortgage fraud, man, they would get the book thrown on them, yeah? President Trump, you can read this as well, but it's a very long tweet. But what he is saying in this is that justice is served on that case. And the other cases he has, those are on appeal as well. And you know he's going to win those appeals, which will be a big, huge, huge win for him. He deserves this. This is his time. I just love our president. So last night he went from working at McDonald's. Okay, think about that. He went to working at McDonald's, to riding a garbage truck, to flipping hamburgers at a barbecue, to throwing the football to MAGA supporters, to patrolling the DC streets. Okay, this is posted from Monica Crowley, who's the ambassador of protocol. She was the one that welcomed all of the European leaders and that arrived on Monday. President Trump this was yesterday, she said, President Trump will go on patrol with the National Guard tonight in Washington to see firsthand the progress towards law and order. I love this. It's so awesome. Yeah. I mean, he's one of us. He goes up there, he gets his just boots on the ground and just does what he needs to do. And then he was honoring. Now, this is interesting. President Trump posted this. It says it was a great honor to visit some of the federal agents and National Guard troops working to make Washington, D.C. safe.
Never received so many phone calls thanking me for what we've done in Washington, D.C. from people that haven't gone to a restaurant literally in 4 years. And they said, you know, what you've done it's unprecedented, because what they said it was just unsafe. We couldn't do it. We'd go out and you'd see the stories, you'd read the stories, you'd see all of the things that are happening. And they said we couldn't stand it, sir. And now I take my wife and my kids to dinner. One of them said he's gone out 4 nights in a row, and he hadn't gone out for 4 years. So it's a great tribute to you. And when I look at you people, I understand why, because there's no games, right? We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. You people are winners, and I just think it's such an honor to be with you. And we're going to make Washington, D.C. great again. We're making our country great again. The country is very close to being great. When they say it's the hottest country in the world, they mean it. And this capital is right now, after 4 days, 5 days, it's at a level that you haven't seen in a long time, and it's all because of you. So I want to thank you all very much. It's an honor to be with you, and we'll always be with you. We're going to be with you for as long as I'm around. You're going to be treated as nobody more important, and thank you all very much for being here. Thank you.
That's our president. That's our boss man, boots on the ground, going out there, talking to the everyday person, and specifically those that are protecting us. And they are getting the backing of the federal government, which is huge. And then while many of us were waking up, yawning, stretching, just taking our time, waking up, this is what happened. John Bolton had his home and his office raided. I'm going to play a couple of clips for you. One in particular is the clip on John Bolton talking about planning a coup. And then that was some time ago. And then today, it talks about the news breaking on his raid, not just over at his home, but also at his office. And then I'm going to play what Jonathan Turley says about what he's going to be facing. Jonathan Turley is an attorney, so listen to this.
I don't know that I agree with you. To be fair, with all due respect, one doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work.
The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
It's possible. I don't know with 100% certainty, but it is notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life, that security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away by President Trump.
The probe dropped.
is intriguing here because these are long-standing allegations that the book indicated or referenced classified material that he may have acquired when he was in the administration. We're not clear as to what that is, but it would suggest that it could be national defense information. The reason that's important is that creates a heightened potential penalty. So you can have penalties that range from 5 to 20 years. 20 years tends to be the sentences for concealing information, obstructing justice. Simply having classified information can weigh in at about 10 years, and there are often multiple counts because each of those documents can be charged separately. So there is a strange history here. So you had these allegations coming out as early as the first Trump administration. Then there was an allegation that the Biden administration essentially scuttled a further look at this case. Right. And now we have this new development. But we really don't know if there's something that has occurred most recently, whether they uncovered something that they believed is sort of evergreen, that this is still a viable criminal case.
So
I have to show this list in a scrolling form because the list is getting longer and longer about federal investigations or what's going on. But remember on this list we have right over here Adam Schiff. He has knowingly released classified information. John Bolton, if they find classified information just by having it, it would be 10 years. Hey, what about Joe Biden, what he had in the garage hanging out there with his drug-infested son, right? 10 years. Concealing it, 20 years. So let's talk about the concealing part. Who else got caught today? I'll get to that in just a moment. War News, she had posted this as a reply to one of the posts that I had in terms of John Bolton committing treason. And what she wrote is, I said, let's add also crimes against humanity. And she wrote, absolutely crimes against humanity. Many nations want to see this man get what is coming to him. Again, many nations. War News knows her stuff. Back to here. He is one of the worst in the U.S. foreign policy. So much blood on his hands. He is just the lowest of life. You can even imagine. I'll even share what President Trump had to say about him.
I know about it. I saw it on television this morning. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. He's a real sort of a lowlife. When I hired him, he served a good purpose because, as you know, he was one of the people that forced Bush to do the ridiculous bombings in the Middle East. Bolton, he wants to always kill people, and he's very bad at what he does. But he worked out great for me because every time he doesn't talk, he's like a very quiet person. Except on television, if he could say something bad about Trump, he'll always do that. But he really doesn't talk. He's quiet. And I'd walk into a room with him with a foreign country, and the foreign country would give me everything because they said, oh, no, they're going to get blown up because John Bolton's there. He's not a smart guy, but he could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me, probably today sometime.
And the foreign minister...
I tell Pam and I tell the group, I don't want to know, but just you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer, but I feel that it's better this way.
So President Trump did have him as the national security advisor from 2018 to 2019 and then fired him. Again, President Trump, everything President Trump does and did is very strategic. Did he bring on certain people on for whether it's for a few days or whether it's for a few months or in this case here, a little over a year for a reason, right? And President Trump is also talking in this clip here. He also talks about Lisa Cook.
Fire Lisa Cook, the Fed governor, over her mortgage
fraud. If she doesn't resign, yeah. What she did was bad. So I'll fire her if she doesn't resign.
Lisa Cook is refusing to resign because of her mortgage fraud that was uncovered. And so President Trump says, yeah, I'll fire her. I'm telling you, we may not get Q drops, but we're getting Trump drops, Trump and Il Donato drops. President Trump, on his Truth account, he was giving us tons of hint of what was coming on just 5 days ago. He gave us a hint about John Bolton. And then on January 15th, 2025, he gave us hints about many other people. This was his post on just 5 days ago on August 17th. The very unattractive, both inside and out senator from Connecticut, Chris Murphy, said Putin got everything that he wanted. Actually, nobody got anything too soon, but getting close. Murphy is a lightweight who thinks he thinks it made the Russian president look good in coming to America. Actually, it was very hard for President Putin to do so. This war can be ended now, but stupid people like Chris Murphy, John Bolton, and others make it harder to do so. January, just 5 days before he was getting sworn in to become the 47th president again in the public eye. As of today, the incoming Trump administration hired over 1,000 people for the U.S. government. They are outstanding in every way, and you will see fruits of their labor over the coming years. We will make America great again, and it will happen very quickly. No kidding, yeah? In order to save time, money, and effort, it would be helpful if you would not send or recommend to us people who worked with or are endorsed by Americans for No Prosperity, headed by Charles Koch, dumb as a rock John Bolton, bird brain Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, disloyal warmongers Dick Cheney and his psycho daughter Liz, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, Mark Milley, James Mattis, Mark Esper, and any of the other people suffering from TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, so remember, concealing classified is 20 years, just having it is 10 years. This was posted by Kash Patel yesterday. Newly declassified memos reveal former FBI leadership authorized classified leaks while misleading Congress. Now, he didn't say just Comey. Okay. Thanks to President Trump's push for transparency, the cover-up is finally exposed. Accountability must follow. Exclusive. Prosecutors secure evidence Comey authorized classified leaks but declined charges. They are hiding. They're misleading. So did they perjure themselves in Congress? Remember how Chris Wray was also going out there saying, I can't talk about anything because there's an investigation going on. I can't talk about anything. James Comey had the CRS syndrome. Can't remember squat syndrome. What's your name? I don't know. What's your last name? I can't talk about that. It's under investigation. Everything was they couldn't talk about it. So all of this is going to start coming out finally. President Trump, he reposted this. This was during one of his many trials that he was faced as part of the swamp trying to get rid of a presidential candidate. He hinted, a reporter was asking him, President Trump, what's your secret weapon?
Mr. President, what's your secret weapon?
Cash.
I thought it was his cash bond back then. I had no idea he was talking about Kash Patel. Or again, was it both, right? Then Dan USCG, he posted the FAFO, President Trump wearing his gangsta suit and his fedora and his FAFO sign in the background, right? Because it's all coming out. This dark MAGA stuff is all coming out. So what was really beautiful about today is President Trump. Man, I'll tell you, I don't even think he sleeps. He is getting all the criminals exposed little by little by little and throwing a lot more hints, but he was also going to the Kennedy Center. And look what the sign says, the People's House. A White House experience. So he's going to the gift shop at the Kennedy's house. Okay, it was amazing. But here is President Trump, and he's giving surfers a huge confirmation about the royal leaders, the Trump family. This is what he just posted today through Il Donato. And it's a picture of Barron Trump, and it says, he wants more arrests. Patience, young prince. All right, guys, we had talked about this. Remember, we just talked about this not too long ago, and it was about how Melania Trump is part of the royal family, and it was her family that was savagely killed because they were not going to back the Rothschild takeover. And how this is a threat. This was before the meeting with President Putin, and there was rumors going around that he was going to give her an emerald ring. It didn't happen, but what it did boil down to is it was a deep dive about how this tiara is called the Vladimir tiara, and the monarchy, Lizzie and their dirty family, they wore this, and it was one of their favorite tiaras that they got to wear, and it had emeralds in there, and it actually belonged to the Romanov royal family before they were savagely killed, which this whole thread talks about how it has ties to Melania Trump. So again, President Trump, Melania Trump, are they now suddenly the king and queen? And they're not your typical royal leaders. But again, their child, Barron Trump, then would that make him the prince? Of course it would. We have a new sheriff in town. Listen to News Treason posted this, and it was just reported yesterday about how President Trump, military lawyers, which are JAG officers, can now prosecute misdemeanors in D.C. So if somebody says, well, this particular politician, that was just a misdemeanor, well, it's going to be a military lawyer that can prosecute. Listen to this.
And we also found out, Jillian, just recently that U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro has authorized 20 JAG officers, military prosecutors, to prosecute misdemeanors here on the streets of D.C. as part of this surge. So you're seeing a lot of cooperation between the Pentagon with the National Guard, the FBI, which is under the Department of Justice. But that's notable. 20 JAG officials, which are military lawyers, being able to prosecute misdemeanors as part of this operation.
Man, I'll tell you, Batman's going out there and he's cleaning up Gotham City in a big, big way, covering every basis. And it also, in a White House press conference, President Trump was talking about sending out the National Guard to Chicago. Oh my gosh, it's going to be big. So there are no Q deltas between August 21st and August 25th. But the next one is on Tuesday, August 26th. Suicide weekend, hands up, 30. I don't know if that means 30 people, 30 days. And then 0.28, is that a minute marker of 28 seconds? Impossible coincidence. We are in control. Big week ahead. So again, that's next Tuesday's Delta. So we can look forward to that. Many of us are going to be hitting that refresh button all weekend because we know this is a big beginning of the big MAGA promise weekend, right? We've had many, many, many MAGA promise weekends. And now with this one, with the raid, it's a really big step because we've had many bad things happen to President Trump. Now it's retribution time. So I'm sure many of you will be hitting that refresh button. I'll do as much as I can on my end over here. But boy, I'll tell you, none of this would have happened without you. And when we know how the left plays when the bad things start to happen to them, guess what happens? They send out their bot farms and all the, just the negative Nellies will come out, but they will fight and they will fight hard. And we know we stand together and we will win and we will fight this together. But just hang in there. We're just, oh gosh. And then on Monday is the day that Evergrande, on a financial front, Evergrande gets delisted, right? And then John Squire posted New York City takeover. A giant XRP MasterCard billboard just appeared at the southwest corner of 29th and Broadway. 8/25/25. Check this out. 8/25/25. The countdown has begun. Mass adoption isn't coming. It's already here. There's a lot of articles. If you go on to Yandex.com or if you go to some of the Brave searches, but Yandex searches, you'll see a lot of articles about how many banks have to or are adopting XRP. So let the implosion of the old guard from everything from the financial to the DC, corrupt DC, to the dirty agencies, to all of that continue, and we'll watch how everything unfolds. So have a very sunshine-filled weekend. You never know what's going to happen this weekend, and we'll see what's going to happen next week as well. But God bless you all so abundantly. Thanks so much for, this fight together, and we're winning. And, it's just going to be so interesting to see how all of that dirty DC is going to start crumbling down. God bless you all abundantly. Have a beautiful day, and I will have a show very soon. Aloha.